Welcome to our weekly Forex forecast, and this is for trading for the week of October 19th to 23rd, 2020. Just a quick disclaimer here before we get started here. This is for educational purposes only. Trading is a risky business, so please be careful with your money. As usual here, we'll start off by taking a look at our calendar. So before we dive into the news that's coming up, we do need to just remember, keep in mind, we have elections coming up in the US in 2 weeks here. So leading up to the elections, things can become volatile. So that's one thing that's going on in the market right now. Another thing we have will be the stimulus package that they are debating in the well, President Trump hasn't, or both the parties haven't been able to come to an agreement yet. So if the stimulus, so that could basically cause some problems as well, or cause volatility depending on if they go back and forth saying, they're getting close to the agreement or not getting close to the agreement. That can cause volatility. So that's the second thing. Third one is Brexit negotiations right now. As we head towards the end of the year, we are getting closer to the deadline for Brexit. So that is likely to cause problems as well. So just keep all of that in mind, because more risks there are in the market, more volatility there will be. So that's something we have to be aware of. All right, so in terms of news that's coming up. So first of all, we have ECB President Lagarde speaking. So this here, we have IMF meetings going on this week. So there will be a lot of speakers and such. So what we have to be mindful of here will be the comments coming out of it. I'm not expecting any change in the stance that any of the countries have or the leaders have. However, the comments or the interpretation of the comments can make a difference. So just keep an eye on that. We do have GDP numbers from China coming up here. These numbers can have an impact on Australian dollar and New Zealand dollar. So positive numbers will make Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar go up. We have Fed Chair Powell speaking, and again, they're not likely to change anything 2 weeks before the elections, but comments can make a difference. So any kind of comment, even if they, for example, talk about negative interest rates or even any sort of inclination to thinking about it even, will have a negative impact on the US dollar. So another thing would be, what are they expecting in terms of the recovery? And on that, actually, there is a resurgence in the virus cases with winter coming. Now we are seeing a lot more cases in Europe. We are seeing cases, basically an increase in cases around the world. So that is going to cause problems as well. It can create volatility in the market, because if we go back into lockdown, that will have a negative impact on the market. So keep that in mind. Other than that, we have a whole bunch of MPC members, FOMC members speaking. Again, I think the Yellen's, sorry, not Yellen's, Yellen is not the Fed chair anymore. Powell's speech will have a greater impact than the other members, the Fed members, but just be aware. Okay, we also have monetary policy meeting minutes here from Australia. So here the concern again would be the outlook here. Right now, the outlook is very important. How are the central banks seeing the economy recovering? Are they concerned about it? Are they concerned about how fast we may see, or how slow actually we may see the recovery, and anything like that? So that will have, any concerns will have a negative impact on the Australian dollars. And then we have Tuesday, we have building permits, housing starts. These numbers, even though they're marked as yellow, they are important. If we see the activity increase, that is positive for the US dollar. And then on Wednesday here, we have CPI numbers. CPI numbers are always important. And right now, the numbers are expected to not be spectacular here. But if they are quite a bit below expectations, that could have a negative impact on the pound. But pound will be more impacted from volatility in regards to the Brexit situation, more so than the data. The data is important, but it will be impacted uh, by all the Brexit stuff that's going on. And we have already seen a volatility based on the Brexit negotiations. Anytime the negotiations are going well, we have seen pound go up. Any sort of rumors in regards to anything negative going on tends to cause it to drop. And Wednesday also we have CPI monthly data here, as well as retail sales numbers from Canada. So in Canada, the virus cases have gone up here as the weather has changed. So if we see that these numbers, retail sales numbers, are not coming out well, that will be concerning, because um, what will happen if the virus is more widespread than it is currently? So it will just have a negative impact. So watch out for that. And then we have Bank of England, Governor Bailey speaking. So again, it would be in regards to, so with this Bank of England, though, we do have to factor in Brexit negotiations as well. So if we see them mention anything about any concerns in regards to Brexit negotiations, that will be negative for British pound. And then we have consumer confidence numbers, employment numbers here for the US. All these numbers will have an impact. But again, US dollar right now will be impacted by the volatility around around elections, more so than the numbers at this point. But again, numbers are important. Euro here on Friday, we have PMI numbers. PMI numbers are very important. So purchasing managers index. So if the purchasing managers are buying stuff, that means they are expecting retail sales to be strong. But if they're not buying as much stuff, that will point to a lowered activity in terms of retail sales, which would mean the economy may not be doing that well at that point. So these are precursors to retail sales, very important numbers to pay attention to. Anything that comes in below expectations will have a negative impact on euro, and we have the same here for pound as well. Anything that's below expectations, so same thing for the US, anything below expectations is going to be negative for these currencies. And don't forget, end of the week, we'll have daylight savings time switch. So that's it in terms of the news coming up here. Let's go on to the charts now. All right, so starting off with euro dollar here. So we see price went into the resistance and then bounced off of that. It wasn't able to get through. It's right in the middle of that range. It wasn't able to get through and turned around right from the middle of the range, which is this support resistance level coming all the way through here. So now we have a bearish engulfing candle, pretty much a bearish engulfing candle here. So bias is bearish here. And in terms of the move that we are looking for, something like this. Now, US dollar tends to do well when the stock market is going down. So should, for some reason, if stock market starts to go up, then we may see US dollar reverse as well, which will mean all these dollar crosses will go in the opposite direction. So watch out for that. For now, bias is bearish. And looking for 1.1600, looking for it to come back all the way down here. And then pound here, similar stuff here. We see price went into the resistance here, wasn't able to get through. And now we have another bearish engulfing candle close here as well. So looking for a decline here. And in terms of the price move, I will look for something like this, a retest of this previous area, and then a drop here. First target is 1.2765 and then 1.2665. So bearish bias here for pound dollar as well. But again, all these dollar crosses will be impacted by what happens in the stock market and US dollars. So just monitor those two as well. Aussie dollar here, this is a really solid bearish engulfing candle close here, completely engulfs the previous candle. So this is looking bearish here. Next target, we are looking at right into the support level, right into the bottom here, 0.700, and then we are looking at 0.6850, so bearish bias for Aussie dollar. New Zealand dollar, this one as well, we see price went into the middle of the range, right into this resistance here. And then we do have a bearish engulfing candle, not quite as strong as what we have seen for Aussie here. So, but bearish nonetheless. And target is 0.6520. And then we do have our 0.6500 right into the support here. This one has been trading in a range for some time now, and support will be important. If it doesn't go through, I would be looking for a move back into the range here. So watch out for the support when price gets into the support at 0.6500. So looking for a drop here as well. Dollar CAD here, this one has gone up, but it doesn't look very strongly bullish at this point. It is struggling with resistance here. Now, generally, when Australian dollar and New Zealand dollar drop, dollar CAD tends to go up. And in this case, then we're likely to see a move up. But the concern here would be if it doesn't go through this resistance, it can drop. So this resistance at 1.3256 here, this will be important. So if it holds below, then I'd be looking for a move back into the support. Should it go through though, then I'm looking for the top of the range here, which is 1.3420 level here. So right now, this has also been trading in a range. It hasn't really broken out of it. So this is the range it's been stuck in for the last few weeks here. And if it doesn't go through this resistance, then we're looking for a drop. So I'm neutral on this at this point. So we'll have to watch this on the daily and see what we get here. Euro pound here. Euro pound looks very neutral at the moment. Hasn't really done a whole lot. It's just been going back and forth for the last several weeks here. As we can see, it's been stuck in this range. It's tried to go back and forth here. A lot of this has to do with the Brexit negotiations because both the currencies, the pound is extremely volatile. So depending on what comes out in regards to those discussions, prices have been moving back and forth. So right now, to this week's candle close is extremely neutral. There's no clear direction here, so we'll have to wait and see on this one. So bias right now is neutral. I will look for a move between 0.9120, which is the top of the candle here, and right into 900, so 0.90. So neutral bias for Euro pound. Euro Swiss franc here, this one has been moving lower. Now it's barely hanging onto that close below the support level here. Once we see a hold below the support level, then I would be looking for more of a move to the downside. So right now, this is bearish to neutral or neutral to bearish. Next target is 1.0665. Back into this level, and then 1.0600 is the bottom of this. So looking for a move lower, so neutral to bearish for Euro Swiss franc. Pound Swiss franc, this one has also held below the support resistance level here. We do have a bearish candle close. The concern here is it's stuck into this into the support at this point. It has not, price has not been able to break the support at 1.1760 level for 3-4 weeks here, 3 weeks at least. Now, so I would say neutral to bearish for this one as well. We do need to see a break for this one to continue. And once we do, then we'd be looking for this lower level 1.16 78.20 level here. For now, though, neutral to bearish bias here. For it to continue, we do need to see that break below the support level. Sorry, I got stuck in my apologies there. I accidentally picked the text thing. Okay, here we go. All right, so dollar Swiss franc here. This one is a sort of range bound at the moment here as well. We do have a bullish candle close for the dollar. Dollar Swiss franc here. The problem is it's right into this resistance level here, and this is where price has just struggled previously. So this one here is neutral to, it's just neutral. If it goes through this resistance, if it does manage to close on the other side of 0.9160, then I'd be looking for a move higher. Right now, this is right smack in the middle thing, so neutral bias here for dollar Swiss franc. Pound yen, this one also turned around last week, right from the resistance. We do have a bearish engulfing candle close or railroad tracks. So this is looking bearish. The concern here would be right into the support. It's just closed right into the support. So we need to see a break. If it fails, it could still continue higher. So watch out for that. And with all the yen crosses and actually with the Swiss franc crosses as well, what happens in the stock market will play a role with our dollar crosses and yen crosses. So if the stock market starts to go through the roof, then we're going to see all the yen crosses and dollar crosses go up. If the market starts to tank, stock market starts to tank, then we're likely to see these drop with the stock market as well. So just keep that in mind, but bias is bearish for now. 134.30 is the first target, and then 132.85 is the second target. So bearish bias here. We're looking for a move to the downside. And so we had this downward move, pull back, and looking for a drop. So that's what I'm expecting here. And we'll follow up on this on the daily to see how things play out. So bearish bias for pound yen. Euro yen as well, as we can see, price moved down here when it was right into this resistance level. It closed. So it's also looking bearish. Next target here is 122.40. And then below that, we're looking at 121.50. So bearish bias here. Again, be mindful of the support here. Dollar yen, this one also looking bearish. We see price wasn't able to go through the support resistance level. It's held below. Now it's right into that support. So be careful with this one. We do need to see a break. This is an important support level. So we'll have to see a break for this one to continue lower. So for now, bias is neutral. For the last 3 weeks, it's been stuck in this very narrow range. So we'll have to see which direction it wants to go in once it gets out of the range. So neutral bias for dollar yen. Pound yen here, this one is looking bearish. We have a bearish engulfing candle close here. Next target here will be 72.60. So bearish bias for Aussie yen. New Zealand yen, this one also looking bearish. As we can see, we have a bearish engulfing candle close. So looking for a further move to the downside here. 68.70 is the first target. And then we have 68.10. So bearish bias for New Zealand yen as well. Cad yen, this one is in between here. We do see a drop, but it doesn't look sufficiently bearish enough at this point. So neutral bias here. And as we can see for the last 4 weeks here, 5 weeks, it's been stuck in this range. So what I'm going to look for Cad yen would be, can it hold below this 80.60? And we may get a move like that. So neutral to bearish bias for this one here. 78.40 will be the target, but it has to hold below 80.60. Otherwise, it can just continue on back into the resistance, because this is the range it's been trading in for the time being for the last several weeks now, few months actually. So right now, neutral to bearish, 78.40 is the target. All right, so let's take a look at our commodities. So we'll start off with silver here. Silver looking a bit bearish. It is into support. It hasn't broken through the support yet. It's not a bearish engulfing candle. So there may be some concerns here. So we'll have to see how it plays into the support level here. So it did bounce off of the 23.50 level. And now we need to see. So what I'm looking for is something like this. If it gets through this 23.50 level, then we're looking for move back into 22.30. So bearish bias here, just with caution though, watch out for the support. If it holds above the support, then this one could go back up, all the way up. But the overall move here right now, we have seen this drop, pull back, and then I would look for this. But again, expect volatility right into the elections here. Same thing for gold here as well. We see price went into the resistance, then has turned around. Now it's not super strong candle. It is bearish. Next target here is 1850. So bearish bias. Again, just be cautious overall with this one. Oil here. Oil hasn't really done a whole lot. A neutral candle close, still has that small amount of bullishness to it. It's overall, it's been trading in a range. It's rejected the support, so we could see a move back towards the high. So if oil goes up, Canadian dollar tends to go up as well. Now, important thing will be it will have to go through this resistance. So for last 4 weeks here, it hasn't been able to. So once we see this go through, then the target is 43.80. However, if it holds below like it's holding now, then I'm looking for a move back towards the bottom of this smaller range that it's been trading in. So 36.80 will become the target. So for now, this is neutral. Copper here, copper hasn't really done much either. It is into resistance, hasn't been able to get through that, but it's been trying. So neutral candle close, same thing here. If it holds below 3.05, then looking for a move towards 2.99. So for now, neutral bias for copper as well. If it goes through, then it could go all the way into the next one. So we'll have to wait. Neutral bias there. Bitcoin, I don't have the weekend numbers here, but based on the Friday close here, this is looking bearish. It is right into the support though. So watch out for that. Once it gets through the support at 11,000, then next target here would be 10,500. So bearish bias for Bitcoin. But please do check the weekend numbers here. S&P 500, bit of a back and forth here. So we did see price had gone up, and now we have been seeing this week price went down here. So went up and then went down. This is looking bearish. Now, question will be, can it get through this support? So for it to continue lower, we need to see a drop here. So bias for now is bearish. Next target is 33. So about 3,400, and then below that we have 3,300. So bearish bias for S&P 500 here. So generally, the stock market tends to go down prior to the elections. But this year, we have an interesting stuff going on with the COVID because of the expectation of that stimulus plan or package. So regardless of who wins the election, it is highly likely that a stimulus package will get passed. And that's what the market is counting on right now. So it doesn't matter who is the president of the United States or what party wins, there will be some sort of a package that will be passed. And that's what's causing it to stay up there. But generally, because of the uncertainty, people tend to sell prior to elections. So there's just two different themes playing out in the market right now, which we don't generally see, but this year has been unique overall. Okay, so this one here also looking bearish. We may get a pullback and then a drop here. First target is 11,600, and then below that we're looking at 11,220. So bearish bias for Nasdaq as well. Dow Jones, this is looking more neutral here. We see price went into resistance, couldn't go through it. So we have seen a drop. And so this is neutral to bearish. It's holding. So if it continues to hold below this 29,000, then we're looking for a move back down. So this is the range it's been trading in. It's right in the middle. So I'm looking for a move towards 27,250. But it has to go through the support first, right? So bearish, neutral to bearish bias for Dow Jones here. DAX here, this one has also been back and forth. It did drop, then it pulled back. So bias here is neutral to bearish. This one as well has to hold here below this 13,150 to continue, but that's the move I'm expecting here. So neutral to bearish bias here. I don't like this big pin in the bottom, which shows rejection of the support, which means it could go higher. So this is for now, this is the move I'm expecting. 12,600 is the target to the downside for DAX here. FTSE, same thing. This one has been trading in a range for a number of weeks now. It's been stuck here. And as we can see from the current pin, it went all the way into the support, then bounced off, and we may get a range bound move here. So this one's looking more neutral here, and I would expect the price to just bounce off between the support and the resistance like it has done for last 6 weeks. So neutral bias for FTSE, and range is between 60 and then 57.65. Last one here, we have Nikkei. Nikkei looks bearish. Well, no, it looks neutral to bearish. We have a neutral candle close here. It is pressuring into the resistance, but it hasn't been able to break through. So as long as it holds below this 23,650 level, we would look for a move back down here. So bias for now is neutral to bearish. But once it crosses through, then it's likely to shoot for the highs. And then, so I'm going to leave this here as well, because in case it goes through, we're looking for that next move higher. So for now, neutral to bearish. And again, we'll have to watch it more on the lower time frame. All right, so that's it for now. You guys have a wonderful trading week, and I will be back with the daily analysis. Bye for now.